Good evening. It is Tuesday of Passion Week, of Holy Week, and I want to continue with another devotion for you guys this evening. And I want to remind you before we jump into it that we will be having our Zoom Good Friday service this Friday evening at 7 p.m. And if you're interested in that, just keep a lookout we'll be sending the link out for that soon, and we'll continue to follow up with getting that link to you guys so that you can access that. There will have to be a password associated with that so that you can, so that it's protected from hackers. Also, you need to get ready for it. There's a couple of things we want you to have for yourself. So it would be you need 7 candles for your experience in your house, and you also need to have some juice of some kind that you'll use in that as well. To this evening, I want us to think about the Tuesday prior to Jesus' crucifixion. Holy Tuesday, sometimes called Busy Tuesday, because so much happens in Jesus' life on this day. So much is recounted in the Gospels for what took place. And I just want to leave you with one of those stories. It comes from Matthew chapter 12, verses 41 through 44. And here Matthew writes, "And Jesus sat down opposite the treasury, and began observing how the people were putting money into the treasury. And many rich people were putting in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which amount to a cent. Calling his disciples to him, he said to them, 'Truly I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all the contributors to the treasury, for they all put in out of their surplus, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she owned, all she had to live on.'" I want you to think about, for just a moment, what God values and what God does not value. What God does not value are your abilities. He does not value your surplus, your wealth, your intellect. All of these are things that He gave to you. He is said to own the cattle on 1,000 hills. God does not need your money. He asks us to give of ourselves to Him, because elsewhere Jesus would say that where your treasure is, there your heart is. And so what this woman in this story exposes is the reality of her treasure. Greed, financial greed, is something that is as much a temptation for the wealthy as it is for the poor. The wealthy can be greedy in terms of hoarding what they have. The poor can be greedy in desiring what they don't have. Here this woman decides that what she does have, as meager as it is, she will give in totality to the Lord, and therefore exposes that money is not her Lord and not her God, but God is. Her devotion to the Lord outweighs her need for money. And so I want to leave you with the question of in what ways does God need to become more of a chief of your heart? What are you invited to give over to Him because it has vied for authority or dominion over your life? How, like these rich individuals, have you perhaps given out of a sense of surplus rather than sacrificially? How have you perhaps given in a way that is more for your own reputation than it is for God's glory? All of these are tremendous temptations that we face, but God is inviting us into a greater reward that is not found in the praise of others who watch what we do, but is found secretly in God, who watches us and sees our hearts as we do so. God bless. I pray that tonight's a wonderful night for you as we continue to prepare our hearts for this Easter weekend, Good Friday and Easter Sunday.